Does he worship yams? Is that what he does? Dr. Eli Karam in the studio with me. I don't think Scientologists worship yams. Maybe not. Eli, it's good to see you again.
Good to see you, Terry.
Are you going on the road for Thanksgiving this year?
Going on the road like I do each and every year. It's the deal I made when we moved back to my hometown here in Louisville, Kentucky 8 years ago. I told my wife we would spend Thanksgiving in Naperville, Illinois, in the western suburbs of Chicago.
I've been to Naperville.
You have?
Yes, I've been to Naperville.
You can't really say Chicagoland because it's too far away. It's a kind of entity of its own, but it's a great town. But yeah, we have Thanksgiving there every year because my wife's family is in charge of that. So there's about 30 or 40 people, relatively large gathering over there. So I've learned a lot about Thanksgiving etiquette, not only in working with families as being a marriage and family therapist, but really being around my in-laws. They've given me a lot of material for your show, Terry.
EliKaram.com is the website. Karam is spelled K-A-R-A-M. And as you noted, you're a marriage and family therapist. Let's talk about it now. This is what happens. Some people get all bunched up when they think, oh, God, I got to go spend 4 days. And it's okay to text my sister-in-law, but I don't like being in the same room with her.
That's right. You know, we also get a lot of people this time of year. They're a guest, so they're not really in the family, but maybe they're going home for the holidays or Christmas later. But Thanksgiving, they're kind of stragglers, so they're going with either their friend or maybe their new relationship. So what is some good etiquette? I've been getting a lot of questions about this, about being a guest. Well, first of all, you got to be able to define your relationship when you go. Are you a guest? Are you going as a friend, or is you going as this new romantic interest?
So that you can give them the proper title?
That's right. You got to know what your role is, and then you got to know your audience. Are you going to a really a liberal type of family? Are you going with some really interesting kind of conservative family members? So kind of know your audience and get a profile kind of the people before you go, and then don't ever show up empty-handed, Terry. You know that. What are you bringing with you to?
Mary's great about this. She's a broccoli casserole person.
Yeah.
Our family depends upon this. And then my sister-in-law, Paula, I love her so much. Paula George is the greatest sister-in-law
So Lebanese ever. Thanksgiving for
We
you.
do some Lebanese stuff, but she makes this sweet potato thing. I'm already thinking about it. It's 6 days from now.
Yeah, so you got to bring
I go in
something.
every year and I worship her.
She's
my favorite George. I tell her that all the time just because of that. I look forward to these get-togethers. And, I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
Etiquette is also important in that somebody brings in their new, companion or whatever.
Yeah.
And you don't start by saying, "Hi, I'm Terry. Why'd you get that stupid tattoo on your neck?" That's not a good start.
Exactly. You don't want
to wait 20 minutes before you say that.
Yeah, you don't want to talk. That's another tip is appropriate conversation at the dinner table. So, yeah, probably no remarking on any piercings or tattoos or augmentations, and no talking about sex, politics, or any bodily functions probably at the table is a good one. No smartphones at the table, Terry.
Certainly.
Don't pull out your
Let's
phone.
go back for one sec. If there are little kids at the table, some of those topics you mentioned are like, really, some people, they don't have any filter.
That's right.
They're grown-ups who are not around kids, and they come in and they start throwing off words. They're like, hey, whoa.
Hey, they're the young ones over there. That's why they developed the kids' table.
Yeah, we're not in a bar here.
That's right.
Uncle Jimmy, I know you don't have kids and you're a free spirit, but let's have a little respect for the other people here.
What goes along with that, too, is that, you can enjoy an adult beverage or so, but don't get wasted, which also lots of people have. They drink to sometimes tolerate their family members, but if you're a guest and you're making a first impression, don't overdo it on the alcohol. You can get in the spirit of the season, but not too spirited.
Here's another thing, too, is don't have a couple of drinks and then go roaming around the house and put on someone else's clothing. That's really just not a good idea.
Terry, is that
only
a faux
twice.
pas you've made?
I've done that only twice.
Yeah,
and I look cute in that one push-up bra. No, wait a minute. That didn't happen. Seriously, don't go nosing around in people's homes.
Also, don't, like the opposite of talking too much, don't be a mute if you're a guest. Go in
because then
there,
they think that you've got an attitude.
Or you're aloof.
Who's the quiet guy? He's the quiet guy.
Don't be a mute.
And what if you don't have shyness issues with shyness, and you're dating someone new, and they say, "I want you to meet my family." Well, just by saying, "I want you to meet my family," and it's Thanksgiving, the new person feels like, "Hey, this is a serious relationship." So you have to measure those things out. Shouldn't you spell out the terms of that in advance?
That's why I said you got to define that role, and you have to have a good idea of how people are perceiving you. So you can also, if you have a hard time talking or sharing about yourself, especially if you're new to this family or you're a guest or you feel like there's a lot of pressure on you, ask other people questions. It's the great thing. It's a great thing about being a therapist. You know, you don't want to talk about yourself. Ask other people questions. Ask about people's kids, what's going on. Make a connection with someone. If you can ask questions, you can usually find some sharing.
But give up a little something so that they don't think you're Edward Snowden.
Right,
you know.
right. Find some, like I said, mutual point of connection. And again, I said, don't bring that smartphone to the table. Well, it's a one time a year Thanksgiving dinner. Put the phone down. You'd be surprised how many I went.
How many times today have I been in traffic? I mean, I've run a certain number of errands today, and people are wavering on the roadway, and you finally get up and get around them, and they're on that phone like they think that's their living room.
Attached to it.
It is mind-boggling.
Attached to it. We've talked about that before. And
they're not even trying to hide it. They're not cloaking it. Just, I'm busy. I'm texting my sister. I don't care if you got to get to work.
And you know, the last thing, right? You've had a good Thanksgiving. Maybe you're going to be a one-time guest, but maybe, like I said, you're kind of slowly easing into the family. This is going to be a relationship that lasts. You're going to be back. It's always nice to not only thank people in person, you send a little thank you note.
I think a kiss on the lips is in order to your new father-in-law, especially if you're a dude. Just let him know who you are right away. What's up, big fella? I don't go for that bro hug stuff. That's probably a little too far, Eli.
I think you could pull it off, Terry. Me? I don't know. But my father-in-law, I probably work harder in that relationship than anything else. And he is, it is important to kind of honor the host. So he hosted, and it's a big deal. So
here's another thing. Is that you need to help with the work.
Oh, man, that
drives me crazy. That people come over and they just think, they think they won a game show contest. They're coming over and they're just going to go plop down and just, hey, can you get me a da-da-da? And then and then they're finished, and then they put their plate on an end table.
And you know
what do you think? A robot comes and picks that up?
That was on my list too. Even what hosts, what they appreciate the most. I mean, when you come in and you help set up, I'm sure that's fine. But people really appreciate the most is when you help clean up. It's the cleanup that people really appreciate. So if you offer to lend a hand, that's also, if you're not very talkative, if you're a little nervous, if you're new as a guest to this family, then you offer to help out. You offer to play with the kids.
Right.
Don't go and park yourself in front of a phone or the football game.
You can go to Caulfield's or any of those novelty stores and get those fake sores. You put one of those on your hand, nobody wants you to work anyway. They don't want you to help out. Oh, I'm sorry, I got a thing going here. And they say, you go sit down. We'll bring you something.
No food prep for you. So, we also got like specific, say you're not a guest, say you are, I get these a lot too, these really particular